by show of hands, are there any fisher anglers in the crowd? Any anglers, fisher people? Okay, a couple fisher people, couple fisher anglers. So there's a show in Canada called Fins and Skins, and it's on TSN, which is our Canadian counterpart to ESPN. So this guy calls me up, and he was a CFL player, which again would be like your NFL, but like really small, like the high school version of the NFL. So is the CFL. And although Jeff Garcia, Doug Flutie, those are all guys that played in Calgary, and The Rock played in Calgary as a Calgary Stampeder. But anyway, so he was a CFL player, Henry Wozchuk, and he said, look, I'm doing this show, it's called Fins and Skins. The fins part is we go fishing for half the show, and the skins part, we're gonna do a skins match and play golf. So I'm like, okay, well, I've never fished a day in my life. So I'm like, I haven't fished before. He's like, oh, no problem. So he brings me up to Kitimat, British Columbia, middle of nowhere, to this river system, and we're fishing for Chinook salmon. That's a Chinook salmon. As you can tell, it's not like a wee minnow trout sort of thing. It's a big fish. So all I'm told, I'm put in a pair of hip waders, thrown in the middle of this river system. I'm given this rod, and basically you toss your lure, and then I'm told to bring it in, and it's going to bump along the riverbed, bump. And then if I feel something, I'm supposed to go like this, and that's going to set the hook, and then I bring the fish in. I'm like, okay. Well, they call the Chinook salmon the fish of 1,000 casts because it literally takes 1,000 casts to catch one of these suckers. And here's the other misconception for you non-fisher people out here is if someone tells you to go fishing at 6 in the morning because that's the best fishing, I never caught a fish before 10 because you want to know why? The fish are sleeping. The fish are sleeping at 6 in the morning. They're not up. They're not up at 6 in the morning. They're sleeping like they should be, like I should have been. So there I am fishing away. Well, finally, I swear on cast 894, I feel something, and so I set the hook, and then my rod starts bending. I'm like, and it's funny because if you watch the broadcast, because they still broadcast it to this day, you actually hear them say, oh my gosh, I caught a fish. Like you can hear that because I'm using my outside voice because I was so excited. So anyway, they didn't teach me how to bring the fish in. Apparently, for people who fish, you are supposed to bring the fish in a little bit and then let it swim out and then bring it in and then let it swim out. Like you play with it a little bit, but you keep slowly bringing it in. Well, I didn't know that, and I was really excited. So I started breathing my fish in, and I'm reeling him in, and he's like water skiing, like, and he's like skidding across the top of the water because I'm so excited that I'm bringing him in so fast. So Henry has a fish glove, and he bends down with his fish glove to pick up the fish, and all of a sudden, I feel this big pain, boom, and I go down, and I'm crawling on the riverbed, and my rod is gone, and my face hurts, and my fish is gone, and Henry turns around and is like, what happened? And I'm like, I took it in the face. And what had happened was we had to use these barbless hooks in this particular river stream, and we had these cylindrical weights on the end of our line, and so when somehow in my poor reeling in, the fish popped off my barbless hook, but my rod was like this, so the cylindrical lead weight in the rigging came back and hit me in the face. So that's what, and it was funny because I thought I was bleeding and I couldn't see anything, and so then Henry said, oh, you're such a drama queen. And I was like, so I went over to the side and I kept fishing. Well, within an hour, my lip was all swollen up like this, and they couldn't do close-ups on me for like 2 days. But I caught that fish! I caught that fish! I caught that